Hello everyone, my name is JOCELYN. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Also, thank you guys so much for all your likes, comments, shares, and subscribes. It is greatly appreciated. So I came up with this concept, right? Because I know that I get a lot of people who ask me, how do I control my overactive mind? Like, how can I control my overthinking thoughts, my intrusive thoughts, to where even though I have these thoughts, even though these things come up, I can move through life. So I am a good teacher in this because little do you guys know, I'm over analytical. Like, I overthink everything. My thoughts run a mile a minute. And sometimes it has taken me like a lot of time to really embrace that and control that about myself because I understand why I'm having these thoughts. So I deal with it all the time. So for example, it can be something just as simple as figuring out what I want to eat for dinner. It can be something as simple as, okay, what time do I want to get up in the morning? And I will literally sit there and process these things and think about these things for hours at a time. Next thing you know, okay, I look at the clock, hours have passed by, and I've just been sitting there just overthinking, okay? So I came up with this concept. How I came up with this concept is that one particular night, I was having like, my thoughts was just taking full total control over me. And I was thinking about not having this and not being this and, you know, being in certain situations that I've been in and I could not get control of my thoughts. As well as I have daughters. And you know, for people who have kids, you always notice that when you're not in the mood, it's like your kids have all the energy. So my girls, like I was trying to like put them down to bed and, you know, settle them down, and they were just going wild. Like, they were fighting each other, but they were like playing. They were like play fighting with each other. They was jumping on the bed. They was all over the place. And I'm like, please sit down. And I couldn't get what I want and how I could sit them down, right? So next thing I know, I was just like, look, I want y'all to clean up the room. I need y'all to go to bed on a certain time. Let me see how many seconds it can take you guys to clean this room up. And I was like, let me start counting. I was like, ready, go. And I started counting 1, 2, 3. So they just gone because they're very competitive, right? So they was just gone. And I think I started counting. And when I got to maybe about like 130 seconds, I noticed and I was like, wait a minute, I can breathe. Like, I don't have these thoughts. Like, what was I even complaining about? Like, it just totally, like, I just didn't even remember really what I was even complaining about. So I kept counting, and by the time maybe like I got to maybe like 200, something like that, I like felt very peaceful. It was like a very overwhelming of peace that was within me. And I was like, well, you know, I was like, well, God dang, what was that? And I got the message that you have to learn how to breathe and how you can breathe because you like numbers, you like counting, just count. So I came up with this concept of counting to 1,000. The reason why I say 1,000, because it may seem like, why would I sit there and just count to 1,000? 9 out of 10 times you're not going to make it. Because like I said, I think I had made it to maybe like 288, something like that. You're not going to even want to count to 1,000. But just to give yourself that goal, okay, look, let me sit back, let me count to 1,000 so that I can breathe. And when you start counting, you just take deep breaths with each number that you get to. And whenever you feel that your body, your mind, your mouth, even if you count out loud, is tired, then you can stop. Now, for people who have overactive minds, you may have to count to 1,000 sometimes. You may have to. And you can just count in your head. You don't really have to just count out loud, but just count in your head. And as you're saying each number in your mind or just out your mouth, you can breathe with the number. Numbers are meant to be healing. Everything in this particular lifetime that we have access to is meant for healing, is meant for you to overcome things. And numbers are the number one thing. That's why I like numerology so much, because it's not about just, you know, who you are. It's what we use on an everyday basis. Anything that we use, if you can think about it, we use numbers, prices, you know, counting, learning how to count, learning how to manage time. We use those things. We use that tool as the number one tool in our life. If you really think about it, we use time. time is numbers. So that's why I like numerology, and you can use that time in order to process a lot of things, in order to heal. So I came up with this concept because I want you guys to try it out. It works for me. And, you know, thankfully I had those overthinking thoughts at that time, because if I didn't have that challenge at that time, I wasn't going to embrace what I know now. So every time that I get into a mood, you know, because I'm a Gemini moon, every time I get into like a mood where I can't control myself and I can't control my mind and my body, I just take a step back and I breathe and I just start counting. And I've gotten down to where I don't even count really to even like that 288 number that I had got up to. Now I count to like 50. So it decreases. So if you put your number to 1,000, like set that bar high to 1,000, let's say your number may be 800, but you'll notice that every time you do it, the number will drop. It'll drop down to 600, then it'll drop down to 4, then it may drop down to 399. Like it's gonna drop each time, to where now once you get that concept on an everyday basis, when you do have everyday negative thinking, or when you're just overthinking, when everything is really like in a disarray, once you can do those things, once you can just count to 1,000, like I said, you got to set the bar high, because some people's mind may be a little bit overactive. So set the bar high. You're probably not going to get to that 1,000. Set the bar high, and then each time you have overthinking thought, just take yourself back, start counting. Even if you're at work, you don't even have to just say it out loud. You can just speak it in your mind and then just breathe with it. And then all of a sudden your thoughts will go away, and it'll be like, not only will your thoughts go away, but solutions will come to you, because you're breathing, you're using the numbers, you're using your words to count. How you say one, if you can just pronunciate each letter in the word, then that is a good way to like really process it. 1, 2, 3, like actually pronunciate each letter. And then once you do that, you will be able to heal your overthinking mind. So I'll be doing more videos about this concept too, because I don't want to just keep it to myself anymore. Like I've been doing it for a while, but I want to share this concept because I feel like this can be a great way for all my overthinkers out there to, to just heal their thoughts when it's going a mile a minute. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for tuning in again. Like I said, make sure y'all hit that thumbs up button too. I really do appreciate the love and support. And I'll see you guys next time.